Now, yesterday, Parliament voted to forgive Vice President Professor Gilbert Bukenya and ministers who were implicated in the Chogam probe report of complicity in the losses which the country incurred. Earlier, Minister Kabakumba Masiko said opposition MPs who returned the 20 million facilitation are being investigated to find out why they embarrassed the government. The way things are going, it seems the battle against corruption is lost. But civil society of late seems to think that it can do something about it. Recently, it came up with the Return Our Money campaign. Now, there is concern about yesterday's goings-on in Parliament. Joining me in the studio tonight is Godber Tumushabe, he's the Executive Director of ACODE, and he'll be telling us why civil society has taken it upon itself to lead public interest litigation and campaigns against graft. Welcome to NTV11, Godber.
Thank you, Fari.
Always a pleasure to have you here. Now, let's begin by maybe me asking you, are you surprised by the turn of events in Parliament? I mean, the ministers being let off the hook. Now, all of a sudden, the MPs who returned the money are being investigated. Does that come as a surprise to you?
I think the ministers being left off the hook, really, for me, is not surprising. You know, given the trajectory that the 8th Parliament had taken as far as graft is concerned, it was really expected that the debate would come to that. The only surprising thing is actually this idea that government is going to investigate MPs who returned the money. Because I think we've argued in civil society and independent legal scholars that this money was paid illegally out of the consolidated fund. Now, there are people who have argued that actually this money could, MPs could take it and use it and help their people and account. But you know, in law we say that once an illegality, always an illegality. There isn't much that you can do to change that situation. So for government to come out and say they are going to investigate the MPs who returned the money is really surprising because the MPs I think colluded with the government to steal from the taxpayers. Now, for the government to say they are going to investigate those who returned the money, I think it's better they actually investigate those who stole from taxpayers than those who got money from elsewhere to support their campaigns.
Now, Godber, let's zero in on the Chogam probe report, where you are saying you're not surprised by this turn of events. What, therefore, does it mean going forward? I mean, if we have such reports and nothing is done about them, I'll cite the Temangalo scandal as well, where an inquiry is carried out, names are named, but nothing happens. What does that mean for the ordinary taxpayer? Because it's their money being used to investigate. And what does it mean for the country going forward if we investigate things but never act?
No, basically what it means is that we can't put the responsibility of making sure that this country is governed well in the hands of government, in the hands of parliament, in the hands of politicians. I think Ugandans must be able to take it upon themselves to actually say and demand for better government. Because I think with scandals like Chogam and Temangalo and others, we've seen that this is the consistent pattern. I also think that as Ugandans, as citizens, we've let down our president. Because the president comes out, he has been articulating an agenda of zero tolerance to corruption. But I think he's really being held hostage by the politicians who connive and collude with public servants to fleece taxpayers of hard-earned money. So I think what we need to do as citizens is to actually mobilize around the president's campaign and say, all of us as Ugandans, we want a corrupt-free society.
Let's look at practical actions. When you say let's mobilize, let's take action as a citizen, what can be done?
Different organizations and individuals actually can do a lot of things. One is that as individual citizens, we can demand from our leaders, whether it's an MP, whether it's a chairman LC5, whether it's a councillor, say, what are you doing to fight corruption? And therefore, we take you on your word. There are organizations here, activist organizations, that organize demonstrations and all kinds of things. Now, ACODE as an organization, we are a think tank. Our main business is investing in generating new knowledge and doing analysis and doing legal stuff. So that's why in the campaign, we are dealing with the legal side. So we've been leading the campaign on let's challenge the legality of the action and get the court to interpret whether this is an illegal or illegal act, and then help government to understand that there are certain things that are legal or illegal that they can't do or they can't do.
Godber, because of time, I must stop you there. But obviously, this is a discussion that could go on and on and on. Yeah. And it's been a pleasure to have you back here on NTV 11.
Thank you very much.
I've been speaking to the Executive Director of ACODE. He is Godber Tumushabe. And we've been speaking about recent developments in Parliament, where we've had a proposal to have Vice President Professor Gilbert Bukenya and other ministers implicated in the Chogam scandal let off the hook, as well as MPs who returned 20 million shillings given to them as facilitation. Now, they are also under investigation from what we gather. Time now to find out what the weekend's weather has in store for us.